What's going on, ballers? It's 2012, and that means it's time for Preachy to get back on the game. Start releasing some videos. Are you struggling with your Frost DK? What's going on, guys? And a big bro fist out to you people who've been waiting for some big video action. We're back in the game. Holidays are over. It's time to rock and roll with some serious action. And the first thing I want to touch on in our advanced guides is, of course, the Frost DK, my main character. Why the hell not start there, eh? So let's talk about the Frost DK advanced sort of level of play. What do we think about what the struggles with us when we're playing Frost DK? Well, from the emails and stuff you send me, the biggest issue you have with advanced level play is downtime. Now, if you're watching this video, I assume you have watched the basic guide. If you haven't watched the basic guide, click here. Yeah, that's right. Clicking. That's fucking ballroom low tech. We like it. So, advanced level play, the biggest issue we have with the Frost DK is downtime. Why is downtime such a pain in the ass, and how can it cost us that advanced level of DPS? How can that be solved? These are all the questions I'm going to answer for you today. Let's start with the obvious one. Why is downtime an issue? Because we've used all our resources, so therefore we must be doing the maximum amount of DPS we can possibly push out of character. Not always so. Really is not always so. The problem is our crits, our killing machine proc, okay? Our killing machine gives us a guaranteed crit on Frost Strike and Obliterate. Now, when we have downtime, we are wasting those procs, because Killing Machine, as you guys will know from playing the Frost DK, procs a hell of a lot, okay? It procs all the damn time. So when we're not using it up on Frost Strikes and Obliterates, because we don't have any runic power and we don't have any runes, then we're certainly losing out on possible procs, and we don't want that. No, we want to use every possible resource, and a Killing Machine proc is a resource, okay? That is a guaranteed crit we need to use it all the time. So the next question that comes from it, in this patch 4.3, the current level of play is, how do we solve this issue? The main way of solving it is called pooling runic power, okay? Pooling runic power. Now what does that mean, Preachy? What does pooling runic power mean? Pooling runic power means that we save a certain amount of runic power. We pool it, okay? We create a nice little pool or a batch of runic power that we can use when we run into resource downtime. Now the best way of gaining this is from the pull, okay? Your pull needs to be very, very proper in order to guarantee that you're going to have this runic power pretty much throughout all the fight, okay, to use. Now, the reason we want to pool runic power is, one, so we don't have any downtime, okay? So when we do run out of our runes, we can start spamming that Frost Strike. That's very, very important. We need to spam Frost Strike. Why is that also important? One, we're going to use up those Killing Machine procs that are otherwise being wasted, and also we're going to proc Runic Empowerment, which is going to generate more runes to get us back into our Obliterates, okay? That's what our aim is. We want to make sure we've always got a balance between runes and runic power. So how much runic power do we need to gather, Preachy? Around about 60, okay? 60 runic power is going to give you 3 or so Frost Strikes. That's pretty much going to work in line with your runes that are regenerating naturally, and with the chance of a Runic Empowerment proc is a 45% chance, okay? So a 45% chance is pretty much going to happen in 3 Frost Strikes. 3 Frost Strikes, 60 runic power, that's pretty much going to give you an extra rune, and combined with the ones that are regenerating naturally, you're going to definitely be able to faff out another Obliterate, which could lead to another Howling Blast, which then gives you a nice big fat chunk of runic power to rebuild your pool, okay? That's what you're actually aiming to do now. At an advanced level of play, it's not about trying to get as many Obliterates and as many Frost Strikes out, it's about controlling your runic power to make sure you're always spamming the Obliterates and Frost Strikes. Now the next question you're going to ask me is, Preacher, you said to us in the basic guide, Obliterate hits harder than Frost Strike, so shouldn't we be trying to make sure we use Killing Machine always on Obliterates? Not so, okay? In advanced level play, that is not what you're aiming to do. You're aiming to not waste any resources, okay? It moves away from trying to just do a set rotation. We covered the set rotation in the basic guide. Now we're looking to how to push our play to the absolute max. And by doing that, it changes away from trying to do a rotation to making sure we have the resources to always do something. Because if we're not doing something, things are being wasted. There's nothing worse than having all your trinket or procs, all that kind of stuff go off and you have no resources to use it on. Absolute nightmare, ballers. We don't want that. So we're just controlling our runic power. So at the pull, I want you to charge in. I want you to throw down that outbreak. Then I want you to fire off an early obliterate, set some trinket procs going, fire off another obliterate if nothing else happened, then fire off your trinkets, your unused trinkets or engineering, synapse springs, anything like that. And then you're going to use something like Empower Rune Weapon to get all that obliterate stuff back, okay? Just make sure not to cap runic power, because again, that's wasting resources. All we're trying to do at an advanced level of play is not waste resources. Do you understand where I'm coming from? It's better to waste a killing machine proc on a frost strike to make sure we're always using that resource up, because as you know, if we use it on a frost strike, we're likely to get another killing machine proc in the next couple of seconds anyway, okay? That's what we're trying to do, not waste resources. And Empower Rune Weapon is a great utility to do that. So as you charge in and you get your outbreak going and you start using your Pillar of Frost and you're using those obliterates and you've got your cooldown procs up, just watch your runic power, drop it down to about 40 or 60. Your runes should be on cooldown. Drop it down to around 40, 50, 60 is a little bit pushing it, but then you want to pop your Empower Rune Weapon. Bring all those runes back to life and start firing them off again. Now don't do this if you've already had some runic and power procs. Don't do it then. What you want to be doing is making sure that you're using everything. So if you've already had a lot of good luck with runic empowerments, you've got a lot of new runes, use them first and balance it out. When you feel you're in a dry spell, your runic powers drop down. This is very early in the pull. When your runic powers drop to around 30 or 40, your runes are on cooldown, then pop your Empower Rune Weapon. That's going to bring everything nicely into line. And from there, you should be able to manage it. What else you should do, as another advanced little tip, guys, is if you have 2 runes, but you have a lot of runic power, go ahead and get rid of that runic power. Get it back down to the 60, then start using your obliterates again, okay, guys? Keep this balance going. Always what you're trying to do, you're trying to make sure you've got this 60 runic power, always, in case you get to this point where you've got loads of runes, loads of runes, loads of runes. Oh, I've got no runes. What the hell am I going to do? Use the runic power, and then you'll see this happen all the time. Just balancing and min-maxing. And then what you're going to see is very, very rarely will you run into these dry spells as a Frost DK. Very rarely. It'll still happen on occasion. Don't get me wrong. This is not going to solve all the issues, because Frost naturally has downtime, okay? It naturally has downtime. Even with crazy amounts of haste like my DK has, you've got to have this issue. What you want to make sure is keeping this balance. Here's your runic power, here's your runes. You want to keep it like that all the time, okay? So if you have a lot of runic power, spam those runes back to life. Load of runes, get some runic power back. If you get to about here, like that, pull it back down again. Use that runic power. If you get to sort of 80 or 90 runic power, use that runic power. It doesn't matter if you've got 1 or 2 runes just sitting there. Get your runic power down so you can spam some more obliterates and bring it all back into line. What you don't want to happen is this, where everything is down below. Don't want that. You want it all up here and you want it just like that. That's the advanced style of play, guys. Lining everything up, so every time your trinkets go off, you're always using a Frost Strike or an Obliterate. They don't hit that much different, okay? There is certainly a difference. Obliterate certainly hits harder, but not enough to warrant wasting things like Killing Machine. Don't want to do that, okay? You want to make sure you're firing off your Howling Blast as soon as you Obliterate. Be watchful for that Howling Blast proc, that Rhyme proc. You need it, okay? That's going to give you more runic power. There's no good spamming 2 Obliterate. Oh, I've got a Rhyme proc. Your runic power's way low, and then use the next obliterate, your runic power's come up a little bit, but you've wasted a Rhyme proc. What you could have had happen is an obliterate, runic power went up, trying to balance my hands, you had an obliterate, you had a Rhyme proc, you then used the Howling Blast, and then the rune came up together, okay? Then you obliterated again, and then your runic power went all the way up. You didn't get a Rhyme proc, but your runes are dead low. You've only got 1 rune left or something. Use that runic power. Keep it going, ballers. Keep it rocking and rolling. Keep a nice balance. That's the advanced style play for a Frost DK. We didn't have many talent changes in patch 4.3, so that's fine. Everything still plays the same, okay? Your priority is still the same. Keep those diseases up because they buff those spells so hard. You really need to keep your diseases up. On top of that, prioritise Obliterate as much as possible, but move away from just saying, oh, I've got an Obliterate, got to use it, and then your runic power is all, is 90, 100 or 70. Too much runic power, guys. Get it down, because if you suddenly get an Obliterate followed by a Rhyme, your runic power is going to shoot through the roof. You need to make sure you're not going to cap runic power. If you get 100 runic power and use a Howling Blast, there's a lot of wasted runic power there that could be going towards Frost Strikes, which should then lead to more runes, All good stuff, guys, okay? I want you to bear this in mind. You're striking a balance. You're doing this all the time. Don't worry too much about making sure you obliterate constantly. Just watch your runic power bar. Is my runic power bar really high? I should spam a couple of frost strikes. Get that down to about 60 runic power, then keep obliterating away. And then making sure you're using those Howling Blast procs, okay? All that is going to combine you to have a really nice, solid, really high, maximised amount of DPS. That's how I play. That's how I got my world first ranks. That's how you guys should play, okay, guys? That's Preacher talking about Frost DKs. Take it, squeezy ballers.